Bonjour. Je peux avoir une Suisse et un croissant, s'il vous plaît. Merci beaucoup.
C'est moi.
Hey guys, welcome to the video. My name is Sunny. Sorry for the background noise. I'm a third year medical student at Kent and Medway Medical School, and this is my study with me Paris vlog, so welcome. I'm in Meaux at the moment, and I'm in one of their libraries. It's pretty sick in here, I'm not gonna lie. This is the first part of the video, and then in a few days I think I'm gonna try go to the National Library of Paris, see what that's like. So today just going to be tackling the studying in blocks of 25 minutes and then taking 5-minute breaks in between, and then just seeing how much work we get done. Also got a bit of editing to do today, so yeah, and just planning stuff for the new year. You know, when December starts rolling around, start getting that new year feeling. To be honest, sometimes it makes me kind of anxious. I get the same feeling when term's about to start again or at the beginning of a new academic year. But I think the anxiety kind of comes from wanting to do a lot or wanting to achieve a lot. And yeah, I think it's a good sign. Just need to not get too wrapped up in it, you know. But I think 2025 is definitely going to be a learn as you go type of vibe, but just being persistent. I think that's my word for 2025, persistence. Consistency, but with fighting resistance. Also, I've been seeing online, like, there's been a rise in popularity for vision boards for 2025. I don't know if I'm going to make one, but I'm wondering if you guys have made one. If you've made one, let me know in the comments below. And then that'll probably influence whether I make one or not, and then I can show you in my next vlog, potentially. On my way to the library, found a bakery. It would have been rude not to. And that will be the study snack for today. What's your go-to study snack? Let me know about that in the comments as well. Okay, we found a spot. Let me show you. Okay, before we get into what I'm studying, let me show you guys the setup real quick. So we've got our lecture in the top left, and just below that we have ChatGPT, the best study assistant. In the top right we have Anki, and Anki is just a flashcard making app which pairs spaced repetition with active recall. So it's one of the best study tools to have for such a high volume course like medicine. In the bottom right is just space, so I can access my screenshots. Today I'm studying all things stroke related, so their initial assessment, the treatment, as well as the rehabilitation process afterwards. This is part of my elderly medicine module. There were actually 3 lectures in the folder for that week's teaching. I was only expecting 2, so that took a bit longer, but we got it done. And it was actually quite interesting. This library was so chill. Being near the end of December, I was so surprised to see as many people as I did here. But they all looked around a bit younger than me, maybe 18 to 20, maybe even some 16-year-olds. And I say that just to make the remark that these French kids take their studies serious. I'm guessing they're around A-level area, because I don't see why uni students would be in the library like this, but I can see why A-level equivalent students would be in the library like this. That was a pretty good stint. Now I'm just stretching my legs. I think I've done 4 25-minute blocks, so it's time for a bigger break now. I went by pretty quick actually. I felt like I got in the zone. Yeah, strokes are actually quite interesting. Even the management and the rehabilitation, which we don't usually learn too much about, we definitely see more of that in the hospital itself. Like when we do days where we're with the occupational therapy team or even the physiotherapy team, we assessed stroke patients and kind of talked with the discharge team about what happens after they leave the hospital, and now we're seeing it in lectures. So it's really good to be able to like make those links
which is actually quite nice. One of the benefits of third year is that what you usually see in the lectures you then end up seeing pretty closely on actual placement, which is great. The way I'm actually studying for third year is a bit different to what I've done the previous 2 years. So the previous 2 years, what I've done is, as soon as I make a lecture, I'll study the cards, so then there's no build up in cards that I've not seen. But this year, because we only have one exam at the end of the year, instead of 3 exams at the end of each term, I've decided to kind of spend the first term making as many cards as I can, and I've managed to make probably 70% of the cards for this year now. So I've got about 6,000 cards waiting to be learnt, and I'm going to start learning them this January and then keep learning them, try to do like 1 deck a day all the way up to the exam. A lot of people in the years above me waited to start learning in Easter, and then they found it really stressful, and I don't want to do that, so I'm going to start in January and see how it goes. But I mostly did that so that my first term was pretty chill, because making decks isn't that difficult mentally, and then I could really immerse myself in my first term of placement and really get stuck in and not have to kind of be anxious about leaving placement and then go and study. But yeah, I think I like it so far, but I've not reached the hard bit yet, so we're going to see how it turns out in the end. I think next term is going to be pretty cool, but also pretty busy. I feel like because I have 1 day off extra, well, 1 day off in the week because of psychiatry, we only have like 4 timetable days and then Friday off. I've kind of told myself, oh, I've got so much time this term, but I've only got 1 extra day off, but I've planned so much. Like, I've picked up extra tutoring. Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, I don't know what I've picked up, but I know I've picked up stuff, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think I might go pick up my stuff, move to somewhere with a charger because my camera's about to die. The library closes in like an hour and 45, so I'm gonna start reading that article that my project supervisor has sent me. Once I've done that for like 45 minutes, I'll spend an hour editing. I think planning content is on my list of things to do, but I can do that when I get back home. Unfortunately, it's a bit grey, but the view's nice. So one of the documents that my supervisor actually sent me to read for my research project is a chapter on how to complete group interviews well. And I know a lot of you guys who come across my channel mostly because of KMMS, and KMS do a group interview, so I highly suggest that you go read this chapter as well. Let me show you how to succeed at assessment centres, and it's chapter 7 where they talk about group interviews. I'll try to remember to put it in the description as well. Finished with reading one of the 2 articles. I think the second one is huge, so it actually scared me, so I picked the smaller one to read, and so that was fine. Also, whilst you guys were gone, well, whilst the camera was charging because it died, I ate the 2 pastries, and oh my days, they were so good. Surprisingly, the croissant was actually a bit saltier than usual, and I liked that, paired with the butteriness. And yeah, if you know, you know. Definitely. Hey, I'm lucky I don't live in France. I would honestly just be big as hell, I can't lie, because I would just eat pastries all day. I'm starting to get a bit restless. That means it's time to go. I'm actually going to walk home this time, just because I've been inside all day the past few days and want to stretch my legs a bit, get the legs moving. And I apologise in advance for the noise of the cars, But hey guys, if I gotta hear it, so do you. Quite a productive session. That's what we like. Got stuff done, boxes ticked. Wanted to close off the first part of the vlog by talking about what I want to get out of 2025. And I know I mentioned earlier about being persistent, but I think I want to move away from the whole idea of chasing goals, or at least thinking of them as goals. And I want to think of them more as checkpoints, because when you say goal, it puts so much weight behind something, and sometimes that's not useful, sometimes it is, but for me, I find most of the time it's not. So I've been struggling to grow my Instagram page. I couldn't seem to find anything that I'm posting actually getting any traction or anything like that. And I told a friend that this was really getting me down, and they did a really nice gesture of offering to call and talk about it, and they just made me realize a couple of things actually, that sometimes when you're chasing a goal, you start building these expectations about what the journey towards that goal is supposed to be like, and then when in reality what happens doesn't match your expectations, that's when you start to feel negative emotions towards what you're doing, and then that will just throw you off your game. And so I'm so grateful that he offered to do that, because he really helped change my perspective and kind of having a paradigm shift where I just need to realize all I need to do is focus on the input and not worry about the output. I can't control the outcome, and this will be the same for many of you and for many of your goals. And so the second thing he made me realize is that even though what he told me was nothing new, the fact that it was someone else telling me this, I don't know, it just kind of had a 1 + 1 effect equaling 2, which is greater than me just telling myself. And so I just think that it's a good idea to offer to talk to people, offer people to talk to you, or when you need encouragement and support, make sure you talk to others, and hopefully they can give you the advice that you need to give you the same kind of perspective change that I've been given. Maybe they won't, but you don't know until you do it. So I think you should take your chances and just share the hardships, share the bad bits, share the peak times, share the negative thoughts, and hopefully someone can show you sense in all of it and help you get back on track. My idea of persistence in 2025, and I'm going to be pairing my idea and ideology of persistence in 2025 with another, being the effective minimum dose. And I think these two ideas put together will just help me stay consistent with direction and not burn out, and also help lower my expectations. Well, I don't know if it will lower my expectations, but all the other stuff will definitely be calibrated in the right way. It's just time to try, because that's all we can do. Don't forget that.
Unfortunately, that workout was the only part of the day that went to plan. After finishing the workout, we went home and ate, and then we set off for the library. Through miscommunication, we actually ended up going to the wrong library, and then once we realised and tried to change course, we then popped onto the wrong train, taking us even further away from our intended destination. This added loads of time onto our trip, and it was honestly so frustrating, but you can only smile when things go wrong or you're gonna cry. So eventually we ended up going in the right direction to the right library. But then when we get to the library, finally, we see there's this massive queue outside. And at this point, there's only 2 hours till the library closes. So I'm like, screw this, we're not waiting. and we head home. Thank you very much if you made it to the end of the video, guys. Make sure you subscribe and look out for one of my next vlogs. If you like this, here are some similar videos. But if you're more into sport, here's a fitness playlist with running and gym content.